everyone, this is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us this week is Ben Moore.
What up?
Ian Hink.
Hi.
And Brandon Jones.
Yeah!
Yeah, baby. Woo. October. For listeners, you cannot appreciate the decorations Jones has put up for us.
Kyle.
I love this right now. The vibes, Jones.
I'm only sad that the camera has
so
to be
many
so
spiders.
low. You can't see the big one.
And bats. Jones has big rubber bats who just hang from the ceiling.
We'll get some B-roll.
They're great
later.
survivors.
Really good stuff in here. Lightning's wearing a witch hat. This is fun. It's really good vibes. Really
witch
good
hat.
October vibes. Before we dismiss our good vibes, it's time to roll the four-sided die. Jones is number 1, Ian, you're number 2, Ben 3, myself 4.
Damn!
That's a 3. Ben, you are the winner of the Prove It ticket.
This die is weighted. The person who sits here gets it every time.
No, I got it last time. Didn't use it, but got it.
If you hear any BS or anything that's cockamamie nonsense, Ben, throw out the Prove It ticket. Make the person prove it.
What about malarkey?
Malarkey's, yes, absolutely.
Tomfoolery?
Throw it at malarkey. Yep.
Okay. Count on you.
This is too versatile at this point.
Too many
uses for the Prove It ticket. All right, let's start corrections. Begin correction music, please. Apparently, I wasn't able to disprove this, so I have to accept it as a correction. Shigeru Miyamoto, it was his idea to make Pokemon 2 different versions. I couldn't.
It is known.
It's known. Apparently, it's known. You can have relationships and children in Fire Emblem Fates. This is a correction I really like. I want to.
Ben's like
Killer corrections for Ben.
Yep. This one comes from Noah Copeland. I really like this one. Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, while not reviewing super well, it is still reviewing significantly better than Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal by about 20 points. So that's something, I guess.
Yeah. I like the ginger nature of that.
Yeah.
Corrections like, fun fact, mildly interesting.
Yeah.
I just picture a bunch of men in a smoky room, and they're like, "Yeah, it's tracking 20 points up."
Yeah. And it took 2 years to get 20 points up, but it is something. It is 20 points.
Something.
It's something.
That's something.
There is a theme park VR game. It is not exactly what I want, but it exists.
Oh.
It's budget.
There's also a theme park roller. Isn't there like a VR roller coaster at Magic Mountain?
There,
Yeah, where you put
Yeah.
the Vive on your head.
No, it's not the Vive.
What is it?
It's the Samsung Gear VR.
Oh,
I don't
right.
know how the safety regulations
Yeah.
are. I mean, it's got to be built in or something different. But
But you're in a jet, right?
I don't know. It makes it look different, but
Yeah.
it's timed to the coaster.
That's insane. That's so weird.
It seems like it'd be the worst.
There is a Burnout 4. Burnout did get to number 4. Harmony of Despair is the HD Castlevania. Dissonance is a Game Boy Advance
Game
game.
Boy.
Oh.
There are 3 Game Boy Advance games and 3 DS games for Castlevania and corrections music. And here's a weird thing. This has never happened to me before. It was unanimous comments. Every single person in the comments also felt that Shrek is a better movie than The Princess Bride.
Son of a bitch. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Everyone else who tweeted at me this week too said the same thing.
Every single person.
Yeah, I got nothing but love for Shrek coming at me on Twitter.
It was so weird because you'd think there's got to be one person who likes The Princess Bride more than Shrek, but not a single soul.
Abusing your position as moderator, Kyle.
I couldn't believe it.
I don't call you on abusing very often, but clear.
I need context on this malarkey.
Shrek's bad movie. End of context.
No, but why did this come up, and why are those two even being compared?
We had a love and respect about Shrek.
Yeah, it was good. It was actually a great question.
Shrek was once good, apparently,
Yeah.
and then now is not good. And what is the Shrek of modern gaming? What is a franchise we love now that we will not love in 5-10 years?
But how did Princess Bride come into this?
That was Jones. Jones
Because they're
dragged
both
it out.
fantasy parodies. They're both parodies of the fantasy genre.
But Princess Bride is good in your estimation.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Because I shall not have the name Princess Bride smirched.
The song is bad in Princess Bride. Everything else is marvelous.
What song?
I'm gonna tell you a story
storybook
about
story.
characters. None of these lines will rhyme, and I didn't write this
The
tune.
feelings
You know, that
I
kind of stuff,
feel.
yeah.
Do you remember my favorite way to
is
start a
life.
podcast?
Singing Princess Bride songs.
Somebody wants.
Yes, it's that.
Game
Smash Mouth.
announcements.
If I don't say it with a
game
death,
announcements.
people tweeted me about it.
We have a bunch of video game announcements this week that kind of flew under the radar at TwitchCon of last week. Basically, Twitch, Amazon had its own big convention last week. Amazon Game Studios announced 3 different games, and there was a 4th game announced at TwitchCon. for some reason, we get to play this game again. It's time for Rank the Significance.
You're a weird dude.
Everybody's favorite game.
Yeah.
How will Kyle say this thing in a strange way this time?
So we'll go through the 4 games, and then we'll rank the significance of those 4 games. First off, let's talk about Breakaway, the game they showed the most of. They showed gameplay of this game. This is their 4v4 mythological sport brawler.
Yeah.
What is our
That's
impression
accurate.
of Breakaway?
That's what it looked like. When people are trying to like throw a ball around on a field and it's just bouncing up and down and you're trying to grab it, like that just looks like fun. Like I do like that aspect of it. I've definitely had that, like capture the flag moment where like the flag's literally like up in the air and you reach and grab it and score. Didn't seem like there was a lot of scoring though.
No one
in
scored.
the brief little clip that we saw.
We were skipping around, to be fair.
But yeah, seems like something that you would have to. I think Ben's opinions will probably be the most valid, so I'm just getting mine out on the couch, and then I'm going to back away from this
I
topic.
don't know why you would think that.
It's a MOBA. You like the MOBAs?
I don't think
you
it's
have
a
more
MOBA.
experience with.
I think it's more like a Rocket League.
It looks like a little both.
It's. I mean, you got heroes.
Because you have health, and you don't have health. Do you have health in Rocket? Yeah, you can blow up in Rocket League. Yeah,
But they're going after a MOBA market.
There's building in it. There's buildables. There's
Buildables.
Yeah, it reminded me of the soccer basketball kind of game in Battle Block Theater a little bit.
Okay.
What I liked about your opinion was I wasn't sure if it was positive or negative until about like 80% of the way through.
that's how I roll.
Yeah.
Keep you guessing.
On the edge of your seat. Ben, do you think this will achieve that MOBA market they're kind of chasing?
It's hard to say. I do if it is indeed chasing after a MOBA market. Many have tried and many have failed.
Yeah.
Like that's not trying to be negative for the sake of being negative. It's just happened.
Cold truth.
Just being right for the sake of being right.
I do. It looks. I love looking at a game and you can just be like, oh, this feels like it moves fast. Like it feels like you can just kind of run around and be crazy immediately. Like it just sort of has that fluidity that you would want. But I asked before the podcast, I'm like, are they introducing this by like commentating over it? I always hate when you announce your game that way. Like it's hard enough to process what this is, and if you just have a couple of guys commenting on plays that we don't even understand yet, like I don't know, it just feels kind of meaningless.
And unnatural as well.
It feels disingenuous because it's like they're acting like this is an established thing that needs commentators and we've never seen it before.
Yeah, like when they were shoutcasting Evolve at E3.
Yeah.
Same
Which, by the
thing.
way, got like a DLC upgrade and a new character mode or something today.
Evolve
I
is
saw
not
it on
dead.
Twitter. And I was like, lol, what?
We're going to talk about Evolve later, actually.
We are?
A little tease. Yeah, a
Oh,
little
Lord.
foreshadowing.
Lord God.
Let's talk about more of these Twitch games, Amazon games. New World. This is an MMO survival sandbox taking place in a supernatural version of the 17th century colonial America.
We'll put a fork in you.
If I had to put my chips on the table, yeah, I not so much after seeing what they described. It's tough. You got a couple people sitting in a room and 2 people, like one person painting not even an environment, but like a concept art, and another person like rotating an orc around in a circle. It's just kind of like when you're talking about like,
I hear you, Joe.
and especially when they're talking about like just crazy like pie in the sky ideas. It's
Yeah.
like, do you want to be a farmer? Go for it. You're like,
you want to protect the
wait,
village?
huh?
Please.
You can
Like-
build that entire
And you see
village.
like a close up of like a fence, and you're just like, like, I don't know.
The gamers are designing this game more than we are. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't know what this game is.
Yeah.
Only you do.
It's super tough. It's super hard. I mean, 17th century colonial America is kind of cool. That's
Yeah, I'm kind of down, and it's an interesting era to put magic in. Like it's like a good Assassin's Creed 3. I'm down.
Sure.
But I don't know. Based on what but the ones that they've said, I'm not sold.
So this one, just by this one sentence, the next game, Crucible. I'm sorry that I'm injecting my own opinion before we even talk about it. This to me is an interesting concept. 12 players against each other, last one surviving wins. However, you can form alliances throughout the matches and betray at any point. And then a 13th player who can activate events in the game. I'm thinking Hunger Games.
I mean, Battle Royale, but yeah.
Sure.
If you don't want to be a scrub.
I mean, was there a Philip Seymour Hoffman in Battle Royale, the guy who can just like activate wolves whenever he wants?
I don't know if he activates stuff, but there's definitely the teacher guy who's like in charge.
Okay, because that's what I mean.
it
Like that
is a little more
13th as
like
well.
that, you're right.
I'm way into that concept.
I was sassing you unduly, my good sir.
Thank thank you for the apology. Ben, what do you think about that?
Ian Hink's sass retraction. That doesn't happen often.
I apologize, but I just,
So, Ben, again, this was presented much the same way New World was.
Yeah.
Did you see anything in the presentation that says maybe they could really pull this off?
No, I mean, I'm not saying that they can't, but it was just a guy talking, explaining ideas, and then seeing character models. Like it wasn't anything in there that said proof of concept to me personally. So
yeah, let's talk more about these 3 games though before we rank their significance. Is that Amazon Game Studios is making very streamable games, and they've said that's their mission.
because they own Twitch.
Because they own Twitch, and I don't know what's up.
I just had a question. Are these real games or are they for the Amazon Fire game version?
These are real games for your
Okay.
PC.
Ah.
Yeah.
They've crossed the border into being possibly significant at all.
Yeah, I should have said.
Ready to be ranked.
Yeah, they can be ranked.
They're ready to be. They're in the pool. Breakaway is Double Helix, who formerly kicked off Killer Instinct before getting sold, or I don't know. Maybe they just left Amazon.
that makes me more excited.
Sure. Yeah, right. A good, solid team who built that game, a viable fighting game.
I want to know why it's called that.
Double Helix?
No, Breakaway. Because you can break the buildables?
No, breakaways like in basketball.
When you get
So
far
if,
out.
if someone gets the ball and it's
because-
like no one's around him, he's going to take that ball to the hoop.
Well, and
It's
because the
breakaway.
characters seem to have a really cool, like, speed boost mechanic, or a couple of the characters did. Mm-hmm. It was really cool.
I'm sure in the tutorial they're like, do a slide move
Do a
against
breakaway.
a person. You don't perform a breakaway.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's a thing.
Sophie. You got goop
She's
in
like,
your
your feet
mouth.
smell real good, Ian.
Yeah, I took my shoes off so people wouldn't freak out.
But Ben, we just talked about how it looks a little ugly when games are introduced with shoutcasting, forced shoutcasting.
Yeah.
Can it work for a game to be designed to be streamed?
You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually think it's really, really smart.
Okay.
And I think just this year, we've seen games that if Twitch wasn't in the position that it is in, I don't think would have gained the traction that they have. Like, I think Dead by Daylight is a good example.
Sure,
where
absolutely.
That is a game that does very well on Twitch, has a really cool idea, and people love watching it. I think if you can get out there and have your game make an impact on that platform, there are so many eyes there already that it's super, super, super good for you. Sorry, just one more thing.
Yeah.
Duelist is another game. It's a great game, but it's sort of like this strategy card game, and they specifically went after streamers. They're like, hey, we'll pay you to stream our game. And it's not huge, but I see tons of people talking about it because they got a lot of Hearthstone streamers that are very well known to play Duelist, and that was a strategy that worked out for them.
Yeah, what I would want you to do, Ben, is explain Dead by Daylight to anyone who's never heard of that before.
Yeah, what is
And
that?
what makes a good streaming game.
I've heard the title, but I've never.
Yeah, so basically it's a multiplayer game where somebody is a killer, like imagine like a Jason Voorhees figure, and then he plays against other survivors. And so basically you try to survive, and you like set up traps and things for the killer, and the killer, his objective is to run around and kill you. And if you survive, you win. If he kills all of the
So
survivors,
is like a good Evolve?
Well, it's like I imagine the Friday the 13th game. Whenever we
Yeah.
get that, will be
The kind of
Yeah,
beat
is
him
that
to
coming
it.
out?
Absolutely. It's still
Is that-
coming. Still
when?
coming.
This month?
Not this month. Oh, it would have been nice to hit October.
That would have been good.
But it's fun. I mean, like, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, whether the game looks good or bad, if you can recreate that genuine feeling in Breakaway of like, oh, you know, I finally got past all of those people. I got clear. Man, that was near impossible to actually score this. Like how good that feels in Rocket League when you score.
Yeah.
And like, see, I didn't get to play Dead by Daylight at PAX, but I saw a couple rounds of like people playing it, and you know, just that feeling when you actually like hide in a closet or something, and you have like the real killer, like an actual player hunting you, just walk right by you, and you're like, oh, and then like take off the other way.
Yeah.
We got to do an app.
And it's streaming gold. And yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Ian just said we got to make an app because it's an entertaining game to watch.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of, like Ben said, kind of smart for. Do we say it's Twitch? It's not Twitch. It is Amazon.
What I found was really interesting since we started Easy Allies as opposed to game trailers is because we have this weekly group stream, because we have something that we know we need a game for multiple people. Certain games have really proven to be so much more amazing than like amazing AAA single player games you think we'd all be hooked on, but it's like it's kind of boring if just one person's playing it.
Yeah.
Or something like Overcooked was like our fallback tonight. You know, we're like, oh, this game, anytime we could play that.
Sure.
That's not necessarily a gorgeous looking game. Like if they at the middle of a Twitch conference like, yeah, Overcooked, and anyway, you'd be like, wait a minute, what was that crazy with the cutting the steak? What, you know, you don't really know until you sit down and play it with other people and stream it and get the audience reaction. So
That's a
kind of
good
the
game.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the good thing and the bad thing about games like Breakaway 2. Breakaway
Breakaway.
is like, yeah, it shows well, and we're like, yeah, it looks interesting, but you'll know like within 30 seconds when you start playing it. You're like,
That's a
oh, this
scary
game
thing.
rules, or
Sure.
no.
Yeah. Finally, the fourth game, Nidhogg 2, was announced at TwitchCon.
Yas,
So this is a sequel to a very simplistic looking game, Nidhogg, in which it's just a
nuanced looking game
in its visuals.
Yes.
A 1v1 sword
Specialized.
fighting game. Fencing, I would almost say. But the goal is just to get to the other side, so it's almost a weird, strange sumo match at the same time. Nidhogg 2, very different style.
You look like a
Controversial
couple
style.
of weird little homers running
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
Yeah, you look like ugly, naked Homer Simpsons.
I was just gonna say, yeah, Nidhogg 2 is embracing the ugly in like a
Yeah.
really cool way that I think is pretty rad.
The environments actually look kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
They look really... They fit with those characters and also just screamingly do not fit with those characters.
Yeah.
Just to
It's pretty-
zoom in on that
Yeah.
face as he's stabbing him
He's just like,
repeatedly. You're like, yeah, I think I want to
I think
play
he's
that.
stomping him just to avoid a correction.
Oh,
But
Stomping or stabbing, I'm not
yeah,
taking that
yeah,
correction.
they both start with S.
I'm not taking it. I'm not
You could be
accepting that
stamping
one.
them.
Stamping
It
on
could
who's
just be stamping.
Jones, did you like what you saw there?
Yeah, I think Nidhogg proved itself as kind of the game where if you I imagine a lot of people are going through the exact same conversation. It was like, you should check out this game. Oh, the game really looks simplistic. It doesn't matter how it looks, it's how it plays. And it's like, this is the same thing except change simplistic for weird, just swap that word out. It's like, whoa, that's not the way I thought it would look. Why'd they make their game look like that? It's like, because it doesn't matter what this game looks like. It matters how it controls. My only concern is from what they showed, was there any new mechanics? Was there anything they did gameplay wise? Or do you think
there's a bow and arrow in there, I think. I don't think that's in the other one.
so I
definitely
wonder
not.
Yeah.
so I wonder if there were any like subtle clues there. If it was mostly like, we want to show you that it looks different now, but that still plays like your old Nidhogg, and then we'll talk about the new features, and there might be new skins and stuff. Like that might be like the base character, and then you unlock different outfits.
Yeah, what I do appreciate about it is that there is very little in that trailer that says this is the old Nidhogg. We are going in a whole different direction. Get ready for this. Here it is.
Also,
I mean,
we're
it's
pointing
the
out
same,
that
though. It's the same, like, everything.
It's still a 2D
They
fencing
kill each other,
game.
and then it
Sure.
says go, and you have to run,
Yeah. It just looks disgusting.
I was saying,
Yeah.
worth noting that we watched these 4 videos. Granted, we didn't watch all 10 minutes of Breakaway,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that would have made us enjoy that game or like that game more or think it was going to be better. But at the end of the Nidhogg presentation, I think we had the best reaction.
Oh,
just from the room, like,
That's a quality trailer.
Jones, are you telling me you might be ready to rank the significance?
I was maybe in ranked the trailer territory,
Oh,
just kind of
okay.
like rank the presentation.
All right.
Was the actual because you're not talking about the significance of the announcement, the significance of the game itself now.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's do it though.
significance is
Significance now
Let's
on
rank.
a Tuesday.
Significance is tough, though, because it's not really... Is it actual significance in the grand scheme of things, or is it just if we like it or not?
It's not if we like it or not. It is the significance in the grand scheme of things.
I would put both of the ones we got, production art of at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be
It's hard to
Crucible
call those things significant
and
if it
New
was
World.
literally just people making blank promises.
They're definitely 3 and 4. Which one's 3? Which one's 4?
Crucible's 4.
Crucible's 4,
4.
yeah.
Yeah.
Crucible was my
A
favorite.
distant 4.
Wow. Okay.
Crucible is the Die Hard 2 of this quadrilogy.
Okay, so I think Crucible has the most interesting idea, but showed the least amount.
Sure.
You know?
Okay.
Also,
I hear-
it sounds like a lofty promise. Whether or not it pays off, the proof's in the pudding.
So now we have Breakaway and Nidhogg fighting for 1 and 2.
And like a good 1 and 2, like a Die Hard 1 and Die Hard.
There's
with
a big
vengeance.
gap between 1, 2, and 3
Yeah,
and 4. Okay.
Yeah.
I would put Breakaway just because it gave it more attention. It seems like the
a
more
huge budget.
marketable game. It seems like the game that certainly Amazon's going to get more behind.
If it's good, it'll be streamed.
Because that's the
crazy,
catch.
too.
Like, I'd rather play Nidhogg,
Yeah.
but like as far as significance, as far as like what people are talking about right now, what we know about, like
Ben, do you accept this?
I do.
We're going to lock that list in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
The panel has ranked the significance.
ranking.
So, just for everyone at home, it goes Breakaway, Nidhogg 2,
Then a huge
New World,
gap.
Crucible, and a huge gap.
Then
in
a
between.
huge gap, and then New World, and then an even like a 4 times huger gap, and then Crucible.
Poor Crucible. That was fun. Very cordial panel today.
I am most excited to play Nidhogg 2.
Yeah.
Me too.
No question.
We like
Well,
Nidhogg
I'm
too.
most excited to play the
New World, yeah.
Native American meets demon in the forest with an axe and a.
There's
And I
My
can be a farmer.
Roanoke Nightmare.
I want to be a
something-
farmer. There's no question.
Jones, I want to be a farmer too, but so many games have said, "Hey, you can be this thing that sounds cool, but
Just as fun.
just as fun." And it's never fun. They always make it like super. We're gonna do very trivial things.
It could be a really good-looking Assassin's Creed 3 fantasy life. You never know.
I'd say
In which case, I'd
is
be
the
in deep
one game
trouble.
that pulled that off. Where hey, the world is big enough where you can do anything you want in here.
Eve
Which game?
Online?
Eve Online, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you played Eve Online?
No. Yeah. But I mean,
Do you like Excel?
but it's just like that. Someone can live that role in that game.
Here's the thing. I love Eve Online.
Yeah.
It's just too boring to play.
Sure.
I think about Eve Online, no joke. I think I've said this before. I think about Eve Online like maybe every couple of weeks, where I'm like, man, I wish I wanted to play that.
So I
because I
wanna-
love the world and it's beautiful.
I want to believe in Star Wars Galaxies where they say, hey, if you want to be a dancer, you totally can.
Yeah.
I want to believe that there's such a game where someone will have a good time being a dancer all day. They didn't in Star Wars Galaxies, I'm assuming.
The problem,
It's a leap.
problem with stuff like that is we have lives. We have our own real lives where we're insignificant and we do our little jobs and that's the best we can do, you know? Whereas like
People
a
just
video
wanna be
game,
Jedi.
you want to be significant. You want to make a difference. You want to
Yeah.
be the hero.
Yeah.
So like even in New World, you know, you want to be the farmer that finds the golden sword and whatever and blah blah blah, you know, like and fights off those demons or whatever, you know.
I'm gonna be on the fields with the huge armor on, but I'll have a little apron over the armor and a little hoe. And I'll just be like, "Welcome back, adventurers!"
berries.
Like,
When
you have
games
those
get to
carrot
that
soup,
level,
like it's on the pot, ready to cook.
Our next story is one that I see and I say, I can't wait to talk about that on the podcast.
Nice.
It's just one of those. That is a juicy one. That is a plump berry from Jones's farm.
His mech farm.
Kotaku published an article
I believe it.
stating that, reporting that Battleborn will go free to play in the next few months. I want to pluck some interesting things from that, but what they mean by free to play is that there would be basically a trial version of the game that the single player and DLC you'd still have to buy that, but you'd get one character for free, like a League of Legends style, maybe rotating through. Here's some other interesting things. This article states that the source claimed that Battleborn was originally planned and intended to be free to play, but 2K said no, this has to be a $60 game. Jones looks skeptical. You don't believe that?
No, I believe that actually. It feels like that.
That makes
that's
the pieces fall into place.
That's what the game feels like.
Sure.
on this trash game.
Yeah. I just appreciated this. Just like good research. You can buy that game new for $20 right now. Battleborn.
Where?
It came out this year online. Just here.
Just like at Amazon?
Yeah,
or
we'll
whatever?
sell it to you for $20. And then lastly, the free to play decision inspired by Evolve. Evolve went free to play earlier this year or recently, and now they said, look at how many people are playing that game right now. Maybe we should do the same. Those were the interesting bullet points from that. Do we believe it?
That it'll go free to play at all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Because it should have been from the beginning.
Why should it have been from the beginning?
This place just kind of feels like a bee, you know? Futurama.
No.
But it's I mean, I don't want to sound cynical. I didn't like this game. I played it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's bad, in my opinion.
You gave it a shot at least.
IMHO.
Wow.
We gave it a shot. I hated it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, has there been a game in the history of video games that started off pay to play and then went free to play not because it was failing?
No.
So I mean, the proof's in the pudding.
Right.
I'm using that one a lot.
But it does
like,
work sometimes. Sometimes it'll
Sometimes
save
it
a game.
saves.
Like
Yeah.
it saved
Sometimes.
Evolve.
Yeah. Sometimes you bail out enough water and your ship won't sink. But
Think about how different the conversations would have been. Like, I think the comparisons to Overwatch were unfounded anyway. Like, they're not really all that similar, but it could have just avoided being in that arena at all. You know, you could say, well, it doesn't matter if Battleborn is a worse Overwatch. I'm not saying that that's what I believe, that's what people are saying. And it's like, it's free. So that you can't compare them. If you want to play Battleborn, you can, and you don't have to, you know, get it over Overwatch or anything. Like that, the nature of that conversation would have been 110% different.
Wow, that's a great point, actually.
Yeah.
Because that came up every single time you brought up that game, mentioned in every single review.
But
basically.
I mean, I think that's the difference there too, is because the trailers that they announced both of these games with were basically like, it was like the Shrek version of a cinematic intro video, and then the Princess Bride version, or like the Pixar version of an intro thing, because it was all about the characters.
I can't tell which one's supposed to be good.
Battleborn is the Shrek one. It is like you put Smash Mouth on it and you call it a hero shooter. Somebody wants Battleborn.
It actually had a pretty classy trailer, the way it was introduced.
Yeah, it had that weird hipster music on it.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Battleborn.
I remember we gave it a pretty bad score.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Some like
whatever.
elf gets
Character
picked
art,
up
man.
by a clock guy, and then
Yeah.
there's Montana, and we're like,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah.
And that was
yeah.
before
Versus
Overwatch.
Overwatch, one of
Yeah.
the best trailers I've ever
Right,
seen.
and then
in my
Overwatch
life.
came out and he was like, here's how you do it,
Yeah.
scrubs. Like,
We just got this little animation team over here. It's no big deal. You're
Yeah,
like, okay.
it's like not fair almost. But like Battleborn isn't exactly the same as Overwatch. They're different. So like they did themselves a disservice. I mean, hindsight is 2020, but like they came out of the gate and said, without knowing it, we're a competitor with Overwatch, and then Overwatch came out and said, hey, we exist.
Yeah, 2K wanted that.
we just
that money.
blew the crap out of you.
Ben, what point were you stuck on?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I've reached a point where I no longer enjoy saying mean things about Battleborn.
Sure.
You know, it's just...
Low hanging
There's-
fruit.
It's not low, it's like rotting in the ground. So that like
True.
anything negative that I have to say, it doesn't,
Yeah.
you know.
You can't
help.
kick the horse because it's already decomposed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's almost no sense in it anymore. Brandon,
Yeah.
I got some tweets that I would like to have read.
Yes.
So, in response to this article, Randy Pitchford took to Twitter.
Oh.
And Jones, you're going to read us some Randy Pitchford tweets.
And some Jason Schreier tweets.
Oh, yes. The author of the article, I believe.
Randy Pitchford. I was just told about a reckless story about Battleborn going free to play that is false. There are no plans to convert Battleborn free to play.
Okay.
Randy Pitchford again.
Yep.
We have some unannounced plans to do a trial version of the game that would be free, and from which retail can be purchased, along with DLC.
Okay.
Jason Schreier responds, Randy, everyone is interpreting your comments to mean there will be a timed demo. Mm-hmm. Is that true? Or will there be free multiplayer modes? Randy, I don't think timed demo is right. We need to sort out our plans first and then announce them. Call in a few months.
Pretty crazy, huh?
don't
That
know.
is so crazy.
I mean, it seems like Kotaku got a leak, did an irresponsible headline, and then Randy Pitchford was like, hey, that's not exactly our plans. Mm-hmm. Come on, you know. And then Kotaku was like, well, right, are you saying a time demo, or are you saying the thing we said in our article? And then he's like, I mean, it's basically the thing in the article, but like, let us announce our own stuff, guy. And like, that's what happened.
So, you know I like to listen to sports radio a bunch. It's weird. I'll get way into it. One of my favorite guys, his name's Colin Coward. And one of the things he said, I really liked this. He goes, every time there's one of these leaks, somebody wanted it out there. Who do you think wanted it out there? And in this case, I'm thinking like, Colin, who wanted it out there? Somebody deliberately leaked this to Kotaku. Somebody had something to gain from spilling the beans on Battleborn going free to play months ahead of the announcement. I'm baffled by that part.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
clearly wasn't Randy Pitchford.
it had to be someone working there, or that Randy talked to, or somebody told, right? I mean, that's the thing, you never know.
Yeah, but I truly wonder what's to gain. I almost think it's like a mutinous decision. You know, the person sounded frustrated already with 2K, with the $60 thing. I don't
Yeah.
know. To me, that's very, very strange.
That's true. It's very like angry wording in that portion of it.
Yeah. Jones, do you have a theory, man?
On why someone would do that. No.
Why would someone
it's,
leak this?
It's
Yeah.
very clear Randy Pitchford does not like the words free to play.
Yeah.
Like that is not, and it feels like kind of like, again, like we were saying, you know, where this game is being compared so closely to Overwatch, and that's not fair to Overwatch and not fair, you know, in a sense to Battleborn as well. And it's like he's in the same position again now, where he's just like, no, please don't have this whole thing figured out. Don't label it as a free to play game, because then it fits into what Ian said, where it's just like, oh, that's like a clear.
Yeah.
It's like. I'm thinking of an analogy, and they're all really bad.
I love your bad analogies. I love them.
I was thinking like, you have a friend that's in an ambulance, and they bring him back, and you're like, oh, cool. And it's like, yeah, but he kills half his face. It doesn't work. You're like,
That
but
was a bad analogy,
But at
Jones.
least my friend's back. You know?
Obviously you're
It's
excited
like,
your friend's back.
I mean, I didn't like. I'm sad you just had to do that, but I can still hang out with my friend.
The alternative is being dead.
So it's like Battleborn might get more stuff, and that's great, but it's like, ooh, the moment you said free to play, like, I had that feeling of like,
Sure.
oh, you had to make some kind of sacrifice, didn't you? Like you had to.
I mean, that is the funny thing about this, is like being labeled free to play when you came out of the gate not free to play is like, it's, you know, it's like you've been accused of a crime, you know, and like you're never gonna live it down,
It's
even
like
if
you
it
said
isn't
with
the
games.
story.
What successful game has ever
Right.
gone free to play?
Right.
I hear you, yeah.
And so like I can see where Randy's coming from, where it's like, that isn't the wording we wanted to use, but I mean, yes, technically it is free to play.
World of Warcraft is free to play right now, right? You can go up to a certain level.
You go up to a certain level. Yeah.
20,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
20.
Yeah.
You've been able to do that for a while.
Yeah.
Whenever
Online
people
too.
announce this stuff, Lord of the Rings infamously went. I think Lord of the Rings is one of the first MMOs ever, actually, to launch like a very comprehensive free to play model. That there were lots of interesting ways to work around. Like it wasn't just a blanket like you're stopped here. It was like
Right.
you get points and you can earn those in game, or you can spend money or whatever. And I had a group of friends that got way into it. Like they literally saw that free to play announcement, and none of them had played it, and they were all like, let's do it, why not? Let's all jump in and we'll play for free this weekend. And like they loved it, and so I think they put about 6 or 7 months into it, and then we're like, okay. I think like one of the guys got hacked, and he was just like, I'm over it, and so they all kind of fizzled out.
Sure.
But it's like that would have never happened had they not done that. So free to play is not a bad word. Like I play dumb mobile games. I love that concept. Some people do it so much better than others, you know, and like so they're you can look at someone's free to play model, and that is fascinating in and of itself as far as like what you get for free, how they do that, which is why I'm not surprised. Like you play Battleborn, it's like, okay, there's clearly the tier characters that you're not going to release until later that I meet in the story but don't get to play with directly, that of course like they're the cool characters you can play later. And then that one guy who's the bad guy, I could probably play as him later. And it's a classic free to play model. It's like, these are the people for free, and then you got to pay for these, and then the premium content you get this extra bonus guy.
If you want to go through that story of Battleborn, pay up.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it makes sense too, because like if you're flatlining, you know, going free to play is the shot of adrenaline straight to the heart that you need to make anybody play your game, which is better than no one playing it. So, you know, I mean, EVE Online's doing the same thing, where you can get the alpha capsuleer or whatever it's called, alpha clones or whatever, where you can get to a certain level and everything levels up really slowly, so it sounds kind of tedious, but it's like, we want to get an influx of new people. That's why we're doing this. We're stating that that's why we're doing this. We have servers that can handle it. So that's why we're doing this. It's not going to change the real game, you know? And that's the way I think that they came out in a very measured way and did that and said that, but,
Nobody leaked it.
similar thing to this.
Nobody
you know?
leaked it months ahead of time.
Yeah.
Out of those meetings, which had to be tight rooms.
Yeah.
There couldn't have been a lot of people in that room saying, okay, what's our plan? How do we make this free to play? That's the craziest part to me. Ben, can free to play save Battleborn?
I think it can, maybe, if they do it correctly, because when I think about the free to play games, at least recently, that stick out in my mind, Evolve, for example. They came out and they said, this is a new Evolve. All those negative perceptions you have, they don't apply
Phase
because
2.
This is a different game.
Yeah.
And I think they can't just come out and say, hey, it's all that Battleborn action you love, now it's free. Like, no one's going to buy that, right?
Yeah.
And so you really have to, they have to come out with a video that very clearly demonstrates this is a completely different game. It is worth giving another chance.
But can't you see that video?
I want to advise them. I want to say, don't Change the way you've been advertising.
Oh, you know it. You know that video, man. You can see it.
Do
with
not-
the giant text. Free to play. You know, it's like this guy over here, free. This guy here, free.
Oh, God,
you know,
don't.
Like,
Yeah.
And then, like, a
that guy
meme.
over there, that's me. He's free too. You know, it's like I get.
Use a
but it's
completely
Randy
different
specifically saying,
strategy.
"Hey, give us time to announce it
Yeah,
the way we
yeah.
want to announce it." It's like
Yeah.
that's how they want.
Toby's
The
gonna
word-
come out. I have become deaf, destroyer of worlds for free.
Yeah.
My skin is
I know.
crawling. I can't do this.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened since Borderlands.
A cajillion free characters.
You know what? I was thinking about Borderlands though. I was thinking about Pitchford, who's
don't agree with that.
had huge success.
I don't either.
Gearbox had a huge success with Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a massively successful game. And so to come here, you believed coming in with Battleborn, you had another huge success on your hands. You thought you have a huge franchise. 2K is funding you. This is gonna be great. And then to have it sink like that, I could see why it would hurt your self-esteem for it to go free to play.
To not even have to like suck it up and be like, okay, fine, we'll do free to play. You don't even get to announce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the monumental success of Borderlands could be the worst thing that's ever happened at Gearbox.
Wow.
Like you get the sense when they were building up to Battleborn, they just it seemed like they felt as though of course this is gonna work.
Yeah.
Like they needed that hunger. They needed someone to say like, no, stop.
Yeah.
Of course this is
Yeah.
gonna work. You're 100% right.
Because it really is just Borderlands with MOBA, like, hero shooting.
It's a lot
Feels
brighter.
like that.
A lot more red.
A lot more
It's very
red.
colorful. Super colorful game. There were just parts of Borderlands. So I was like, there's not a lot going on
Visually
here. Where,
confusing is how I would
Yeah.
phrase it.
Our next segment is one that was suggested to me on Twitter. I'm so sorry I don't remember who it was. But it was
Betrayal.
a fun enough idea. It's a dumb idea. It's something we shouldn't do, but I said, you know what? It sounds like a fun thing for a podcast. What we're going to do is we're going to compare the games that you would get for subscribing to Xbox Live Games with Gold against the games that you would get for having a PlayStation Plus subscription. I'm going to do my best not to call any of these free games, is why I stumbled over those words so many times.
I love this.
Yeah. So, this is what you get in October with Games with Gold. For the Xbox One, you get Super Mega Baseball Extra Innings
Okay.
and The Escapists.
Okay.
For Xbox 360, you're also getting, and those will play on your Xbox One, MX vs. ATV Reflex and I Am Alive.
Critical failure.
Yeah. I Am Alive is a bad game that I think is really cool and totally worth playing because of the ideas that it has.
I wanted to
It's
play
one of
'cause
those
the
games.
ideas,
You
Yeah.
know?
If it's a game that's just showing up in your inbox, like,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, I hear you on there.
It's worth playing through. It's not very long.
Before we declare a winner, let's look at the PlayStation Plus offerings. For PlayStation 4, Resident Evil,
This isn't fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Those bastards.
Transformers Devastation.
Oh, not a terrible game.
For the PlayStation 3 games, and the difference here is that you cannot play these on your PS4, Mad Riders, which is
What is that?
it's an arcadey ATV racing game. From Dust, that
Yeah.
creepy god game.
Very cool.
And then on Vita, Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth.
Dude, Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth?
Yep.
Yes!
That is it's like a romantic visual novel.
No, I know what it is.
And people say Vita's dead.
Yeah.
This is nonsense.
Alive and
And-
well, my friends.
Actual Sunlight, which appears to be a text-heavy RPG.
Yeah.
I did a lot of Googling when I devised this segment.
Actual Sunlight is hot fire, bro.
So the truth is, if people aren't picking up on Ian's sarcasm, we've never heard of those games
I've never heard a
before.
lot of those games in my entire life.
But let's do it. Let's compare and contrast. Who is the winner? What is the better value of the month of October?
Oh, PlayStation.
Why?
Because Resident Evil is one of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah,
The
I hear you
remake,
there.
yeah.
The remake,
Yeah.
yeah. And this is the remake, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
HD remake.
The remastered remake.
The remastered remake of the remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also agree. Like, I genuinely believe the Resident Evil remake is one of the greatest. Yeah.
Yeah.
And getting
You
that in the month of
cannot
October
compete.
is pretty cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's cute.
That's cute.
That's a cute move, PlayStation.
Yeah, normally I think Games with Gold absolutely has the edge because if you're playing on Xbox One, you have 4 games as opposed to 2 and maybe another 2 if you have your PS3 plugged in still. But MX vs. ATV Reflex and I'm Alive are not stars, I would say. Is that fair, Jones?
MX certainly isn't. I mean,
I think some of those are good. I
Sure.
think this one in particular is not.
Yeah.
It's not a standout. I mean, Jones, would you ever play Super Mega Baseball Extra Innings? Apparently, And I also looked at reviews for these two. Apparently, pretty good game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Sure.
It's a very cartoony baseball game, basically, where people kind of flop around and very simple looking. I kind of miss games like that.
Baseball season is charging right now, so yeah.
Oh
Might be a good
God,
time.
Jones, you would never play this game. Listen to you.
Not if you had not brought it up. No.
Okay,
You
okay.
would not have stumbled across this game and played it independently of you bringing it up on the Easy Allies podcast.
The
No.
way you say, yeah, baseball is charging right now.
Charging right now.
You're doing that thing where you're just being nice. It's terrifying, man.
I'll turn that off.
terrifying.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, let's go.
I will say, if you
Screw
were
that game.
to take like this entire year and,
Yeah.
and be like, hey, which has provided better value, I would probably pick games with gold.
Yes,
for sure.
The story so far.
Do we have other months? Like, do you have?
I don't
want
have
more
the last
information.
month. No, we'll do it month by month. This will be a
okay.
recurring segment.
I also want to know the discounts, because sometimes PlayStation Plus you get heavy discounts
Yeah.
on some games, like surprising discounts out of nowhere.
You do with Xbox as well.
I was wondering. Yeah, I didn't know.
That gets hard for me though, because then we're talking about dollars and
Yeah.
value.
Yeah,
I really like comparing games against games. Transformers Devastation, I think, is another one kind of like I'm Alive. But obviously, way better.
You guys were all
reviewed better.
jazzed on that one, weren't you? Is that the Platinum Games one?
No,
It is.
Oh, yes, it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, everyone was really excited about that one.
Yeah.
Thinking of Dark of the Moon for some
I
reason.
borrowed it. I borrowed it from Game Trailers.
Yeah.
Didn't finish it. Didn't finish that game.
No, that's not
What's-
when you finish.
What's so good is that is a perfect game to offer either on Games with Gold
That's
or
what I meant by
PlayStation
that.
Plus.
Yeah.
Because it's a game that suddenly gets way better when it's free because it's
Yeah.
short,
Yeah.
it's fun, it's easy to understand. You just feel good about playing it and having this service because you probably wouldn't spend the money otherwise. But it's perfect.
You just put that on a platter? Absolutely.
Yep.
Like Earth Defense Force would be a really good.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Oh
Free
man,
game.
Yeah.
they should
That'd be
do
like
that.
the perfect one.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I'll eat the hard drive space for that.
Do we have anything to say about the Escapists?
I feel like that's the game that's like perennially free somewhere, and I've never ever played.
Ian, you nailed it. So, before we move on, Jones, the better service this month.
I just do
Better
want
free
to point
games.
out that we did. I don't remember who did it, but in our community comments videos, we did have one person completely unprovoked just be like, "Escapists."
Really?
Love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Crazy
Okay.
about that game this month. So
Cool.
someone, an ally out there somewhere is deep in the Escapists.
I think
And Alan
Or
out
what?
there says Games with Gold wins.
Yeah.
Then.
from what I know, I think it's a well received game. I think people who've played it like it. I've just never played it.
I
haven't
looked
either.
again. I looked up reviews. I don't like to talk about like Metascores or even Open
Oh,
Critic
is it low?
scores. It's okay. It is. It is
Simplistic looking game, but I think the systems are fun if you play around.
Is it
it's like the kind of stealth game where if you go super stealth, it's very rewarding.
Is
Kyle?
it like Monaco or whatever that game is?
I think that's a fair because we're doing top down and everything.
sort of like that.
Sure.
I'm gonna use my prove it ticket.
Oh no, why?
Okay, so you said you don't like to talk about Metascores.
Mm-hmm.
I think every time I'm on the show, we're talking about Metascores. So can you describe the inner turmoil there between constantly talking about Metascores
Yes,
and not
Ben,
wanting
yes.
to talk about them?
Describe the inner.
I think I'm going to lose another Prove It Ticket challenge here because clearly, I mean, I don't like to talk about it, Ben.
Yeah.
But even in my notes on this piece of paper, I wrote down Open Critic scores next to the titles of those games.
I think. Can I make a guess here? I think this is something you love to feel gross about.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all got that.
Yeah.
You know?
I do. Yeah, some part of inside of me loves quantifying.
you-
it.
that number.
You curse yourself. You look
Yes.
up those scores, you're like, you're just a dirty score searcher, aren't you?
You're like touching yourself.
This game is a yellow game.
Yeah. They hate it. They hate this game.
That
Yeah.
PS3 score is way lower than
Yes.
the Xbox 360 one.
All right, Ben, you win a werehog. Yeah, absolutely,
That got
man.
weird.
I will
Proud of you,
do
Ben.
everyone the favor of not sharing the scores of those games, but yeah,
Do it.
No,
You know you want to. Ben just proved that you want to.
look it up yourself if you're
Yeah, I mean,
curious.
it takes 5 seconds.
Yeah, but it does at least inform me to say the Escapist isn't just critics love the Escapists.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
knowing
yeah.
that. It is reviewed slightly worse than Transformers Devastation did. If I'm doing direct comparisons with numbers, but I don't like doing that. That's silly. It's stupid to look at numbers in video games.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Do you hear that? Oh, sounds like it's podcast halftime.
The following are the official sponsors of Easy Allies for the month of October. Michael Kazachenko.
Spooky.
Mango. iKeyless. Need a new car key or remote? iKeyless.com has been in the key replacement business since 2002. Check them out today, and they can help save you up to 75% off of the dealership's prices. Scorn, an atmospheric horror adventure developed by Ebb Software, set in a nightmarish universe of odd forms and some somber tapestry. Go to scorn-game.com for more information. Sweet Justice, a sound design company based in England that's worked on Battlefield, Mirror's Edge, and Call of Duty. You can see and hear their work at www.sweetjustice.audio. YoYoTricks.com, a tutorial website for teaching people how to yo-yo. To buy yo-yos and learn how to get started, visit YoYoTricks.com or their YouTube channel. All of these links are available in the description. A thank you to our sponsors for another month. All those people, they're all signed up.
I is the letter I and then keyless?
Just like iPhone, yeah. Little I, big K.
Brand new sponsor.
Keyless.com.
iKeyless. Since 2002. You're a good live read. I like that, Jones.
And the one thing that I like about iKeyless is it's the first one that's like not even close to being games related. You know what I mean? It's our first just real rough,
That's a sponsor. Right there,
That is a straight up sponsor.
A real rough sponsor?
I mean, rough to transition easily into, rough to like read to a video game audience and be like, across the board, totally, we're all into this. It's
iKeyless, I would like to be the first to apologize for Jones calling you a rough
This is the
sponsor.
Dana Carvey show all over again here, Jonesy.
It was a challenge. It's a challenge to read off iKeyless, to a video game community the same way you would do a Scorn or a Sweet Justice.
No.
But in corresponding to the team at iKeyless, huge Easy Allies fans, big gamers. So
Yeah.
Also, like a service like that,
Super
I could
nice.
see being a good. I guess technically they did pay us to say this, but like, I've had to pay for keys before, like in a pinch and from a dealer. Damn it, you get ripped off.
Oh, you do.
Oh my god.
Also, our demographics, adults.
sure.
Yeah,
Generally-
they got keys.
Yeah.
Klutzy, forgetful adults.
I've been doing this all wrong.
These people got keys.
That's the thing is I love that. I love that we can be on a podcast and say that instead of just, I don't know, a bunch of teenagers watch you, don't they?
Yeah.
Right.
They got car keys. Actually, iKeyless, I think the battery on my key fob is dead. Can you guys fix that? Can they do
We'll
that?
see. Tune in next week.
We'll find out.
So our first...
Tweeted me.
Oh, I didn't even introduce it. It's time for Love and Respect.
Love and respect. Is that a new one? Is that a fresh?
No, Rufus sounds
He,
good tonight.
He came back.
does. He does sound good.
It's probably because we weren't playing around with him
And
before
he was
the show.
he was keeping the tempo going.
Yeah.
Wow, Rufus.
Really good, Rufus.
How many times has anyone? Have we only
Inspired
had
by
one
our songs.
screw up on that? The love.
Oh,
and
we've had
respect?
many. We've had many.
Okay.
None worse than Brad, probably. But yeah, we've had.
I feel like no one explained it to Brad.
that was kind of the joke.
Yeah. Okay. I just don't. I don't want to seem like we're throwing Brad on the bus.
No, I
We
hate.
wrote 7 songs for him.
I
Brad.
hate explaining
We're
my
not
jokes.
Brad.
wrote a bunch we love Brad.
But people were so upset about it. They in the comments. They were like, "Kyle, it's not obvious. Why don't you understand that?" It's like that is the joke. That's the joke. It's
Kyle,
just-
sometimes you play it a little dry.
yeah, I know.
I hate to break it to you. Sometimes people we play it, but we both play it kind of dry. People think we hate each other.
I like this question. A lot of research in this one. Hey there, allies. Hope you're having a great day. I wanted to draw your attention to the
They're
most
not
recent
wrong.
console numbers in Japan. As of last week, the PS4 has only just managed to surpass the Wii U in lifetime sales.
Wow.
Whoa.
Right now, in Japan, PS4 is at 3.267 million, whereas the Wii U is at 3.265 million. These
Curious.
seem to be troubling times considering that Sony's been setting global records this generation, and yet it's taken 2.5 years to catch up to Nintendo's worst performing console thus far. So I ask the panel, just how concerned should we all feel about the declining Japanese home console market currently? In what ways do you believe that game development priorities have been influenced this generation, and do you think everything will improve once Knack 2 finally gets a release date? Much love and respect, Christian from Perth, West Australia.
Ben, you spent a lot of time overseas. What?
It's been a week.
It's been a week.
I get really frustrated when people are like, "Oh, the console business in Japan is dead." It's not dead. It's clearly not dead. It's just different. You can't be like, "Oh, it's a 1-to-1 to North America, so should interpret things exactly the same." You know, everybody there, they don't drive cars to work. They take the train, and so mobile games are really successful. Handheld games are really successful. I saw it. I saw like 2 different teenage girls playing PSP on a train. You know,
PSP?
PSP, not Vita. I
PSP.
looked. I did a double take. I was like, yeah, that's a PSP. Twice this happened.
Cool.
Twice. Okay.
Yeah, it's a PSP.
I haven't seen a PSP in North America for 20 years, so it's a very different culture. So no, I don't think it's all that troubling. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
It's not troubling.
It's not troubling. It's not troubling in the way, like, you can say it's declining, sure, and that's true, but to say it's over or that they don't care about console games in Japan, I think is complete hyperbole. TGS on the... I saw waves and waves and waves of people going into that building excited about playing games. There were, like... hour-and-a-half waits for that stuff. It's just, I don't know.
Ian, do you have some research of your own over there?
I'm doing some research.
What are you doing?
Doing a little bit of research.
Okay, hit us up.
So, in Japan, there are 127 million people as of 2013.
Sure.
And 3 million sales. In America, there are 318 million and 15 million sales. And I've forgotten how to do percentages. How do you do percentages?
Are you trying to do the percentage of the U.S. population
that
who have
owns
purchased a
PS4?
PlayStation 4?
Yeah, because there are 3 million people who did it in Japan, and the population is a little over a third of America.
Well, here's a fun thing that Christian did for us. Is a historical top 10.
Okay.
The best-selling consoles in all time of Japan. And this might actually be relevant, because I think you're about to make an unfair argument.
The percentages are different, but...
PlayStation 2 is number 1, selling 21.4 million consoles in Japan.
Hell of a console.
Number 2, PlayStation 1, selling 21.59, which is more than that last number I just said, so that's strange. Number 3, Christian,
at last
what is
reported, maybe, like...
Okay, I guess.
You have to adjust for inflation of physical items.
Yeah, that's so weird, Christian. Number 3 is the NES. Number 4, the Super Nintendo. Number 5, the Wii. Number 6... the PlayStation 3. Number 7, PC Engine, also known as the TurboGrafx 16. Ooh. Number 8, Nintendo 64. Number 9, Sega Saturn. And number 10, Nintendo GameCube at 4 million. It will be a long time before the PS4 catches up to even the GameCube.
Well, Saturn beat the Dreamcast in Japan.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah. So, yeah, when you look at numbers like that, historically speaking, PS4 is doing real bad.
Yeah. I read something, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but about Neo, the game, and how the Japanese audiences were... I don't remember how it was phrased, but apparently the game wasn't performing as well in Japan because it was too difficult, or like the difficulty level was such that people weren't liking it, I guess. Whatever, that's what the creator said.
Yeah.
And... he even said that some games apparently have like an easier version or an easy mode just in Japan or something like that. And he said he didn't want to do that in this game, and that he thinks the quality of the game will speak for itself, you know? And I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that Japanese gamers prefer... I don't know if they prefer less difficulty or what, but like that was just an interesting insight. And I mean, given the mobile market being so good there and so bad here comparatively... I don't know. It's just interesting differences.
That's so strange to hear because historically the opposite is true, where we wouldn't get certain games. You know, we didn't
because they thought it was too hard.
Right, we would get neutered versions, or we wouldn't get the games at all.
That's what
Mario
I thought.
too. Yeah.
So this Neo article is very weird.
Yeah.
We get like the Ninja Gaiden updates where you can have like the lower difficulty where you wear like a rubber ducky or something, or like what is it? Yeah, something. It's like, haha, you suck.
Yeah.
Wear this stupid thing, you
I'll wear
stupid American gamer.
There's
fine.
a ring in Dark Souls called the Calamity Ring, I think, where you put it on and it puts a little thing above your head that looks like the Eye of Sauron or whatever, where it makes you take double damage for no reason other than like looking like a badass. So it's the opposite.
So I'm about to say an unfair thing. Here we go. if the NX is a hybrid console, I think it has it's largely to do with maybe this market trend, Nintendo looking at this. I think that Sony is not discouraged at all by these sales in Japan. I think they're looking at their record-breaking numbers worldwide, and they're saying, hey, Japan, that's fine. If you're not into it, cool. We're making plenty of money everywhere else on this planet. Is that unfair?
I think I would agree with that. It seems like from their strategies and stuff that they're not... I mean, I think obviously they want to be huge everywhere, but you can't be, so...
Yeah, I think it's been obvious since the beginning of the PS4 that they haven't been focusing on Japan. Yeah.
Maybe that's why TGS felt so weird. The
Yep.
Sony press conference, we were kind of like, oh, compared to
And Jones, do you remember
them coming out on stage, just like, dun 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 dun. We're like, oh,
Yes, and they
you
barely
can
showed
feel
off the
the
Pro.
energy in this room.
Do you remember they barely showed the Pro at their TGS press conference?
Yeah.
But largely because of the...
Well, that's the first thing I thought about was the Pro when you talked about the sales. Was just like, is the Pro going to help? Or are they going to? Is Japan just not going to be interested in this thing at
Japan
all?
is
or-
not interested in that thing.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Or they've all got 4K TVs and they've been waiting.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But as Ben said, I think there are enough people there to make things profitable.
Yeah.
It's still worth making Neo,
Yeah.
which is, at least encouraging. It's just not bonkers like it used to be.
I have to wonder if certain games, like I wonder if Dragon Quest XI moves the needle at all.
Me too.
And if it does, how
Yes.
much does it move it? Especially considering that there's a handheld version of that as well, and an NX version on the way. So I'm curious.
Absolutely, Ben. Huge stakes on poor Dragon Quest.
It's interesting to me because Nintendo and Sony are both Japanese companies, correct? And like Sony crushes it outside of Japan, and Nintendo hasn't been doing great outside Japan recently, but they're still doing pretty well in Japan with the handhelds. It's interesting that they're both Japanese companies, and one of them, is getting Japan, and the other one isn't. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I think Sony's got the better end of that deal.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll even see. We'll see if the NX does well in Japan too. That's still a
Yeah.
huge question. Okay, that was fun. That was a fun question. I really liked it. But let's have even more fun. We got a game.
Woo!
This is from Sean Dupree. In Kyle's old stomping grounds, upstate New York, there lies the World Video Game Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
The hall inducts 6 games a year and has been open just 2 years. If you were curious which games have been inducted
So are there
already,
only 12 games in it?
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, there are 12 games in there right now, and then there's a link. So everybody, just go to worldvideogamehalloffame.org/games if you were curious to see what's in there right now. In this scenario, Easy Allies gets to pick from one of the nominees for the
Yes!
third class. The nominees are Angry Birds,
Oh God. dare you.
FIFA International Soccer '93.
Are these the actual
Oh,
ones?
not
or
just
are these-
franchises, but
these are-
specific games.
These are the
Okay.
actual nominees.
These are the actual
I was
nominees.
so excited about this.
Minecraft.
Okay.
Okay.
Contender.
Yeah.
There's one here. If it doesn't make the list, I'm gonna stomp out of the room.
So wait a minute. Are we choosing one to be?
The question says 1. Let's choose 6. Let's pick the
Are there
6
more
that
than
get in.
6 on the list here?
There are 12.
Oh, we
Okay.
better let you go quicker then.
Pokemon Red and Blue. Elite from 1984 in parentheses.
Oh, the old one.
Final Fantasy.
1?
Whoa.
1.
Okay.
John Madden Football.
Whoa. How good was that first one? I wonder.
Sid Meier's Civilization.
Oh, yeah.
Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior.
Okay.
And Tomb Raider of 1996.
All right.
Thank you for your consideration. I have no idea what Elite is. Neither do I, Sean. Do you know
It's a
Ian?
spaceship game. It's Elite Dangerous is the current version.
Oh, cool.
It's like a
Final
freelancer
Fantasy
kind
and
of-
Pokemon Red and Blue or Lockety Lock,
And
along with Street
Minecraft.
Fighter.
Okay, so
Street
we're...
Fighter.
I think Street Fighter is a must.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
those
those
three
are
super
10
locked.
games, by the way. Okay, so again, what are our locks?
Street Fighter 2,
Street Fighter 2 is locked.
Final Fantasy,
Okay.
Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yep.
All right, so we've got 3 locks.
And
we have 3
Minecraft.
more.
Chuck Minecraft.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, if we have to do 6.
Third
Jesus.
year it's in operation though. They're not in a hurry to get Minecraft in there.
So then we got to do Civ.
But I mean, like,
Yeah,
out
I
of
was gonna
these-
say that.
Civ's gotta happen.
I don't know how you don't do Civ.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we have, with our final pick, Angry Birds, FIFA 93, Elite,
I
John
think this
Madden
is-
Football, and Tomb Raider.
So many of these games
Tomb
are
Raider.
garbage. Yeah, Tomb Raider. I think this
What's
is more
garbage? There's not a single garbage
I
game
think
on
the
that list.
the question as asked is more interesting than picking
So we get to pick 1.
60% of a list.
Okay, so
I
okay.
think picking the one is more challenging.
Sure, we're down to our 6 then. we're down to Street Fighter 2, Final Fantasy, Pokemon Red and Blue, Minecraft, Civilization, and Tomb Raider.
See, now this is hard.
Now it's hard. Let's get rid of Final Fantasy 1.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
I
Because there's so much.
I'd get rid of
better
Pokemon
Final
too.
Fantasies.
Oh, Jones.
I actually wouldn't
Pokemon
get rid
over
of Pokemon.
Civ, like, ugh.
Okay.
Civ's my
choose-
contender, and I know you're probably in the Street Fighter camp,
Yeah.
I'm in the Street Fighter camp
but
for sure.
Civ, man,
But
I
here's
agree.
uh,
But the
single player and multiplayer, baby.
What do you think Street Fighter is, baby?
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
we would not have fighting games as we understand them today without Street Fighter 2. We would have turn-based strategy games without Civ.
the thing that I'm confused about with these nominees is there are better games, more refined, better games in these own franchises.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like Baseball Hall of Fame where the nominees are, it's a strange thing where like how you qualify and things like that.
Because like
Some of them are pretty new though. I don't know.
Because like that's the thing. Like putting Minecraft versus Final Fantasy 1 is very weird.
yeah,
But I think it's an
Maybe
interesting
they're trying to
conversation.
figure- Yeah,
Sure, it's an interesting conversation, but like Civ 5 is better than Civ 1.
But
then let's kill Civ. Goodbye, Civ.
That's not
I also
what I
did
was
not play
saying,
Civ
but-
1 when it came out, and I'm not a huge fighting game fan, but of course I played Street Fighter, like
So
it's weird because I
tons
feel
of
like
that on Super Nintendo.
Hall of Fame is about your legacy. When it comes down to Hall of Fame, normally when we do lists like these, I say the game now. But I think in this case we're looking at the game's legacies.
I think
It's a nostalgia play.
Civ 1
his name.
is a weird one to include because I sort of get the sense that they're including it just because it's the first Civilization. But when people look back on Civilization 2 is the one they focus on. Like
Sure.
that is the one that really blew it out of the water and built upon the base concepts that Civ provided in like incredible, outstanding ways.
You know what? I could use all those words to describe Street Fighter 2. The one that really blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Let's put it in there.
I
A game that created a genre.
I feel
essentially.
comfortable with Street Fighter. I think Street
mean,
Fighter
I
2 and Civilization, I think, are the...
For me, it'd be Minecraft or StarCraft or Street Fighter 2. But I think Street Fighter 2.
It's the closest we have to all agreeing on something.
Yeah,
The thing is-
it's a historical game more
Yeah.
so than Minecraft, just because.
I gotta bring up Pokemon because it's
Please.
like I
Which
think it's
Pokemon
easy
is it?
to not Pokemon Red and Blue. I think it's easy to look at Pokemon and be less impressed by it
first one?
because
Okay.
that's a series that is so iterative over time. But if you look at Pokemon Red and Blue in a vacuum, like I don't know if I've ever played a game that has felt so novel in its ideas that created something like so far out of left field that made me interact with video games the way that Pokemon Red and Blue did in 1998. Like it was a social experience before that was a thing in video games that was like so prevalent. Like collecting those monsters, man, and having such a large volume of things means so much to you. Like it's pretty incredible.
He's swaying me.
It's pretty incredible.
I'm getting
I don't know
swayed.
if he's swayed. Are you picking Pokemon over
Well-
Street Fighter? Are you just before the conversation's over, I want to say something nice about Pokemon, we'll all agree on
No,
Street Fighter, and then we'll move
we're
on.
voting Hall of Fame. I'm switching my vote.
Whoa!
I don't know.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to find
looking
out
at
what
the old
other
ones?
crazy ass games are in this weird
Hall of
place.
Fame so far. If you pull it up, I would be curious to find out.
I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know.
videogamehalloffame.com/games. We should move on though. Well, no, we got to decide.
We got to decide. The thing about Minecraft is, I think Minecraft is an incredible game, but it is just my own bias that is preventing me from
Weird.
making an impassioned argument because Minecraft was past my time. I
Yeah.
think if I played Minecraft as a kid and grew up with it and got to interact with other kids within Minecraft, I would feel totally different about it.
You put it in the Hall of Fame this year to get some attention, to
think
get a
this
headline,
list
to
is
get people
wrong.
excited.
Yeah, I also think we're too close to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you there.
What is wrong, Ian?
Well, this website is kind of confusing, but it says, is your favorite game missing from the World Video Game Hall of Fame? Nominate it now for the 2017 induction.
Yeah.
And the games are EVE Online, Final Fantasy VII, Half-Life, Halo, Metal Gear Solid, Oregon Trail, Pokemon, Sonic the Hedgehog, Street Fighter 2, and Legend of Zelda. But I can't...
Find
Like-
the 2016 list.
That seems like the games that are being inducted...
That's 2017.
See, all inducted games. Yeah, so that's the ones they're voting on now. So
Yeah.
that's... Oh, so what are we doing?
You had one job to see what was in there right now.
That's what I'm doing now, but I'm like, what list are we talking about?
We're talking about 2016, baby.
That's already happened.
Ian, which of those 6 games do you want in the Hall of Fame?
The Street Fighter, whatever.
All right, Street Fighter wins. Okay. Ian, while you were...
Do you want to know all the ones that are in it?
Yeah, I do.
I've never played any of those games other than Minecraft. Yeah.
That's okay.
You should work on that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember some of them, but Doom, Grand Theft Auto 3, Legend of Zelda, Oregon Trail, Pac-Man,
way slower. This is interesting, actually.
Pong,
Yeah.
The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, which is weird because that was on this website is really weird.
Yeah.
Space Invaders, right? Back me up. You're looking at it. This doesn't make any sense. Super Mario Bros, Tetris, and World of Warcraft.
Yep. So none of the games we discussed are already in there.
Right.
That's a pretty good list, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like it. Space Invaders deserves to be on that list. I get you, Hall of Fame. It's upstate New York.
Does the original Sonic the Hedgehog? I'm not saying because I don't think so. I'm just
I played
thinking
that
about it
for the first time in 2005 and
Yeah.
kind of dug it.
Yeah, I dig it too.
They hold
But-
up.
Yeah.
1 and 2 hold up.
I don't think 1 holds up nearly as well as 2.
Oh,
I
2
think-
is a
I
better
think-
game.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing about this damn Hall of Fame. 2 is a better game. Why is 1 in there?
Well, that's the top 100
Because of
problem as
legacy.
well.
Because of legacy. It's not just the baseball players. It's just like, hey,
that's-
Ken Griffey
but
Jr.
that-
is better than Babe Ruth. And it's like, well, yeah, but Babe Ruth did something. And
Sure,
so-
It's
but
Super
with-
Mario's 1 versus Super Mario Bros. 3. Some people, there's no way that they would say, 3 is better than 1. They're like, no, 1 is an important part of history.
But I think if you were to
3 is clearly a much better game.
yeah.
Any Sonic the Hedgehog retrospective, people would be like, Sonic 1. Sonic 2 though.
Yeah, Sonic 2 would be the build,
it's
for
just,
sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily buy that.
And if you're doing a World Hall of Fame, I don't think you should do some cockamamie rule like 1 game from every franchise. You just look at every game independently of every other game.
Yeah.
And say which game is better.
We'll get there.
Sonic 2 is better.
They're only doing 6 a year. They're wisely
Half-Life 2 is
spacing it
better
out.
than Half-Life 1, yeah. But
Right,
Half-Life
but
1 got in.
And how are you picking these? Are they picked by the people? What's
Ocarina of
going
Time is
on?
better than the original Legend of Zelda. Original got in.
Our next
geez.
question, we have a heavy one here. It's just heavy video game wise. Hey, allies. I'm going to need hot opinions. We're going to actually have to think constructively. I've hit what I'm afraid is a major gaming roadblock,
Oh,
and
no.
I need your help. Lately,
Give them up.
I've noticed. No, it's not that kind of question.
Cold turkey.
We get those a lot. Yeah, everybody goes through that moment.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Lately, I've noticed that for many of the games I'm playing, the key to my success doesn't come down to very much skill or strategy, but rather from exploiting unrealistic enemy artificial intelligence. And it's starting to make me feel unsatisfied with my favorite pastime. I don't feel engaged when I bait enemies one at a time in Fire Emblem, and I feel like I'm going through the motions when I sneak my way through around obvious guards in Deus Ex. But doing so is practically necessary to survive in both of those games. I even noticed this phenomenon when I play supposedly high skill games such as Dark Souls. Have you ever gone through similar existential crises in gaming, and were you able to get over them? Love and respect, Joe. Love this question.
So game that you're playing, you wish you were playing smarter, but you're not.
Not playing
or you
smarter.
Actually, you
No,
are
no,
playing
I think-
smarter.
Yeah.
I think the core of
you
the
wish was more naturally challenging you. XCOM came up as the game that might not let you do that, where it's like it's like try to cheat at this game, go for it.
I did notice that in our stream with XCOM 2, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You can't just be a cute little, I'm going to bait you out. Come on out.
That
Yeah.
little thing I get to exploit. Like, not a lot of exploits in that game. So that might help, I guess.
I'm hoping I didn't miss this. He didn't say what difficulty he was playing something like a Deus Ex on or a Fire Emblem on, right?
Right.
Okay, because specifically, and especially in the case of Fire Emblem, the difficulty you play on that game is a completely different experience. Like normal, you can fall asleep and beat the modern Fire Emblem games on normal, but if you're playing them at the absolute highest difficulty, it's still doable and you can still exploit things, but you have to pay a lot more attention. And so knowing that, if he's feeling this way playing at the max level of challenge, I think my response would be different.
You know what I hate about some Fire Emblem maps is you're doing great and you have this great formation, and then some enemies appear behind you. It's like, oh no! And then that person dies, and I have to reset the whole dumb game because I'm on forever death mode.
It can feel really annoying and really cheap, but
Yeah.
I think it's necessary because otherwise you just kind of follow the battle plan, you know, and I think it's good that they make you try new things and force, you know, on not ideal circumstances. So
Ian,
I hear you.
Did you ever get a cheap kill in a Dark Souls game?
Well, I mean, the thing with Dark Souls, and this kind of plays into what I was going to say, because this is something I've actually been thinking about for years, actually, and this probably isn't going to sound, it's not really a popular opinion, but like, we're in a weird time in video gaming right now where games are so good, you can see how terrible they are, like how they're not good enough. Because, let me unpack this. When you had Super Mario, right? Everything that's there is there, and you're like, yeah, sweet. This is, you know, just for the ease of talking about it, like, this is a basically, like, perfect experience. It's right there. This is what it is. Like, Pac-Man this is what it is. It's great. Now we're at the level where we've got games with graphics that are so good, we can compare them to real life and see how they fall short. We've got AI that's smart enough that we can compare it to real human behavior and see how it falls short. We've got games like Grand Theft Auto or Skyrim or all of these games, compare them to an actual open world experience, real life, and see how it falls short. And frame rates, exactly, you quantifiably see how that falls short. And now especially with VR. So when people say like, oh, this AI is not very smart, or the enemies in Dark Souls do the same things every time because they're video game enemies and I can predict that, you know, that makes sense to me, because even games with cutting edge graphics and stuff still look like garbage compared to, and I mean, obviously it's an artistic license, right? But like, they don't look like real life.
Yeah.
And AI doesn't behave like real people. I was talking about this with someone the other day where I want to get, like, the future of computing is, yeah, better graphics, better performance, but also like crazy deep AI that you could have a randomly generated character that would have thoughts and feelings, and you would feel guilty for like screwing them over, say, in a game. Like, that's where we're going, and the level, we're not there yet, and we're at a weird period in gaming where we're close enough to see how far we are from it.
I hear you.
Do you know what I mean?
hear you there. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's exactly the issue that this person is having, but to me, that's the issue I have a lot.
A strange thing, though, is I think AI, for games to work, kind of has to be bad. If in a stealth game, if people were as smart as actual humans, you wouldn't get anywhere.
Real life is hard.
You can't sneak around.
Yeah, we all think we're Navy SEALs, but we ain't.
The classic thing in a stealth game is if you attacked a base and killed if anyone found a body on a base,
game over.
Lockdown.
The entire base would lock down. All the lights would turn on, and no one until the sun rose the next day, and maybe even until 48 hours after that, would let anyone in or out of that base. Would not, you know, it's just like guards would constantly be on alert. The whole idea of like, well, I guess it's in my head. You're like, never. That would never happen to a guard who's someone that's their job to be there. Like,
months of litigation.
But yeah.
Just to be clear, in Metal Gear Solid, they wanted Snake to go through, so you know it was intentional in that one
Actually,
case.
MGS5, some of my favorite AI I think of this gen.
Yeah,
as far as me being spotted, being like, what, where? Oh, yeah, totally, that guy over there.
You know,
but you're not mad. You're like, oh yeah, he spotted me. That's my fault.
I walked right in front of that guy. It just didn't.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's also a certain video gaminess couched even in that game. Like, the enemies are smarter, but you also get a slow motion period where you can shoot them in the face. You know, they have to.
And I mean, you've hit it, because you need to go so far, but then still make artistic choices where it's playable and it's beatable.
Yeah.
But I think that there is a way to have realistic stuff and game mechanics where you can still. I mean, Westworld, which is amazing, and I don't want to say too much about it, but
got to get it in there somewhere.
No, it's incredible, and exactly this conversation. Someone in there says, do we need to keep upgrading these things? Because people aren't going to want it to be so real that they feel bad for doing the things that they do while they're here.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bad thing. And I would love for video games to get to that level where you, like, you're in GTA 9 and you accidentally hit, like, a gas station clerk and you, like, cry about it because it seemed so real, you know? Like, I want you to feel the guilt.
We are, at that point, though, civilization weeks from ending. When AI is
Yeah.
that
Oh,
good,
yeah.
we're done. We're donezo at that point.
Elon Musk
yeah.
has activated the escape jets
Yeah.
and
I think the
started
reason,
the Mars
I
colony.
get bummed, like this Eleanor question asker seems to get bummed, is if I can't tell what the game was trying to do. You know, if like I find a loophole and exploit it, and then look back at that level and be like, I don't think I
Yeah,
really understood
yeah.
that level.
Yeah.
Whereas
That's
if
a
I
good
can
point, Jones.
still understand it, if I was like, oh, okay, I was supposed to go, okay, cool, that sounds difficult. I'm sure it's super rewarding. I only got 2 hours to play video games today. I'm gonna beat this Hitman level right now and move on to the next one. Thank you. You
Yeah,
know, like
sure.
especially Hitman is like something like I've definitely found some loopholes in those levels where I'm like, oh, I'm caught. Oh no, I'm not. Okay, I'm done. I'm not. You know, like I have no
good.
problem
Yeah.
finishing the level
Yeah.
right now, understanding how difficult that would have been had I actually had to get out of the building the way I should have. But as long as I
There was-
understand it, cool.
Puzzle games. There were a couple.
Best of
Oh,
both
sorry.
worlds.
No, it's good.
I was just gonna say there were a couple of times in Talos Principle where I solved puzzles. I think one puzzle in the DLC as well, but in the main game too, where I solved the puzzle by breaking the game, and like I wasn't intentionally like trying to hack it, but the way I found to do it was probably not the way to do it.
Yeah.
Like putting a laser collector so far off the edge of the map and then shooting a laser through another puzzle, which you do have to do in that game sometimes legitimately, but
But
this
not in
was
the way the
clearly
designer
not
intended.
legitimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't feel as good when you do it that way sometimes.
That's
but
crazy to me because that is you're actually solving the puzzle in a way that
in another way, yeah, which
an
is
actual
fun. You're like, oh,
ingenuitive
cool,
way.
I did this. But then you have to go back and, like you said, like look at it and say, okay, how do you actually do this?
There's a classic Portal level where there was a great commentary in that game when they re-released it. Or I think it might have just been an orange box. And there's one level where they're like, one of the people that was testing this figured out a way to completely just break this level, and we kept it in because it was so awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we were so happy. We're like, yeah,
great.
let's keep that in there, a little Easter egg. That like, no, you can totally skip this later part and just launch the thing up there and get up there.
Well, that's my favorite part of my favorite thing about Portal is that doing that is part of the narrative.
Yeah.
Like breaking the game, breaking out of the game is the game. Like
Yeah.
I love that. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Oh, maybe this is beside the point of what he was trying to talk about, but I feel like from the tone of his email, he likes being challenged and having to think on his feet and, you know, having to use all of his available tools in a way that doesn't feel cheap. And the best way to do that is going against real human beings. And I would argue that multiplayer games are actually in a much better, more interesting spot right now than single-player games on average. And that's... Like, I find myself playing more multiplayer games than ever before because there are so many interesting ideas out there. Like, we talked about something like Dead by Daylight, you know, and having to survive from a killer. And just, I think there are so many cool games both on Steam and on console to explore that, I don't know. I would try that and see if it rejuvenates your interest.
Ben, perfect response.
good- yeah.
Absolutely. Try Dead by Daylight. Try
or
being
play Banner Saga 2, another super hard game.
sure, or just go
It's just
go harder.
extremely unforgiving.
If games are too easy, go harder. Okay, that is it for what I expect from the panel. There's one like very nice comment that I kind of want to read. We don't have to respond. It's not a question or anything. So let's do it. Let's have our hearts warmed for a second. Hello, Kyle. This isn't something I expect you to read on the podcast, but feel free to if you want. Sure. Just wanted to take a moment to let you know how much you and the other allies mean to me. You are all a huge part of my life and bring me so much joy. At times, my heart is filled with so much love and respect for all that you do. I feel like I might burst. I genuinely don't know what my life would be without you, and I want to say thank you. Your positivity radiates out into my world, and therefore I am a more positive person in my regular life, and that is something that I can never repay you for, not even if I had $1 million to contribute to Patreon, and I would if I could. And now, me and my son watch your videos together as well, and not only do you provide me with joy, but you give us something fun to bond over. His name is Lennon, and he says hi. So infinite love and respect to you all, Natalie.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was just too
That is
hard.
beautiful. I was
Yeah.
waiting for you to troll that in some way.
No.
So that is why Shrek is the best.
Yeah. Even Bossman couldn't troll that.
Control that one.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I can't
yeah.
ever swear on video again.
I know. I was like, we gotta
yeah,
stop
I know.
swearing.
Because that child is watching.
Yeah. No, that
I've actually tried to
I
stop.
can't. Yeah, I gotta. No,
I've
I
actually
guess,
tried to
I,
stop.
guess,
Stop.
I guess we'll do this another week.
Yeah, we'll do it one more week. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Ben, don't censor yourself. Kids can hear swear words. They can handle it.
No, but
Yeah, they
like,
know them all.
Yeah.
They know more than we do.
I
Middle of
think
those hip new
sometimes
ones.
Yeah, they know all the new ones. We ain't even heard of some of these swears these kids know.
when you're putting videos out there on the internet, it feels like you're just. Sometimes I feel like I'm just putting videos out there for a bunch of other Ben Moores. You don't always understand the diversity or the types of people that are watching, and I think that is just something I need to be more aware of and more social to. Like, not every person is a pale 27-year-old who spends too much time in their apartment. You know,
There are a lot of them though.
There
God
probably.
dang.
I was
might
just
be a lot of
picturing
them.
a room full of Ben Moores, and I was like,
Yeah.
that'd be a funny room.
Yeah. Well.
Which I know it might seem actually now in the new endeavor that we might OD on like the Q&A. We have like our monthly Q&A. We get the Freem Trap. We got Love and Respect. I have my Cup of Jones show. Like Damiani's, his new show is gonna be him more talking about stuff and answering questions. But like, it's so fun. I mean, it's such a opportunity that we didn't have the impetus or time or the wherewithal to do before, and now it's just so addicting to like get to know everybody and hear fun stories like this.
Well, that like what Natalie, right?
Yeah.
What Natalie said in there is exactly what I love about Easy Allies and what I hope that we do for people is, and I really believe that if you put positivity out, you create more positivity, you know, like positive feelings create positive feelings. And I just think that's such an important thing, especially in games. That's why I feel bad every time I'm like, I don't like Battleborn or Borderlands. Or, like every time I have a negative opinion, like I think it is important to share negative opinions. I don't think you should sugarcoat things.
Constructive.
Like some games are total hot garbage, like those games, vile, wasted, vile, putrid garbage.
You might dial it back.
But this is my opinion.
Yeah, I know.
I love how firm you are. Where it's like, no, this isn't bad. It is the most hideous thing that has ever existed, and if you like it, you should kill yourself.
I would
it's
never
cool
ever
if you
say
have
that.
a different opinion.
Yeah. I would never go there. But
You've gone pretty close. To that.
I would
be
never
honest with
encourage anyone
ourselves.
to self-harm ever.
No, that's true.
Not even as a joke.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true.
But
Never heard it.
Vile trash
Period.
games.
End of story.
Let's stop loving for a second. It's time for bets. It's time to get serious. It's time to get competitive.
Okay.
Next week's bet. Mafia 3 and Paper Mario Color Splash releasing the same day on this Friday. On Amazon's best sellers list, they currently sit at 9 and 13 respectively. That means Mafia 3 is number 9, Paper Mario Color Splash number 13. At this time next week,
Tuesday.
who will be higher on the list and by how many spots? Brandon Jones, what's your bet?
I think Mafia 3 will be higher.
Sure.
I think it will be higher by 5 spots.
I think Mafia 3 will be higher by 3 spots, Kyle.
Nice. Ben
Undercut
Moore.
you.
I think Mafia 3 will be higher by 4 spots.
Wow. Look
Ben
at
and
how
I did
tight
the
we
Roman
are.
numerals.
I think Mafia 3 will be higher by 8 spots.
Oof. A tank.
Let me lock
Now
those
that I
in.
hear it,
Yeah, probably Kyle's right.
probably counts.
It's
We
gonna
both went high though, Kal. 5 and
Scoot
above.
Way up.
Oh, are we both? Yeah.
5 and above, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, who knows though? That's the kind of fun part about these stupid bets is who knows.
Yeah. So we got
It's that
4,
3DS.
3, 2, and 1.
People could be super hungry right now.
Oh, the version that was number 9 is the PlayStation 4 version. If the Xbox One version streams ahead, sure. But
Oh, sure.
yeah, that's just what was number 9. Okay, last week's bet, fun one. Very related to what we did this week. I had to do those two games to me. Paper Mario and Mafia 3, they're so weird and opposite. And
Yeah.
why Friday for both of them? I had to make the bet that way. Anyway, Yokai Watch 2, Fleshy Souls and Bony Spirits were released last Friday.
2 separate games.
Yeah,
Right?
Fleshy
Yeah.
Souls is one,
Fleshy and
Bony Spirits
bony.
is the other. Love that. How many more reviews on Amazon, user reviews, will either game have and by how many? So here's how this happened. Jones, he loved the Bony Spirits. He said that would win by 20 user reviews. Damiani's a Fleshy Souls kind of guy. He said it would win by 15. Brad, Bony Spirits by 25. And myself, I was a Fleshy Souls. I said that would win by 52 user reviews. Final results. Fleshy Souls had 3 user reviews. Bony Spirits had 5. A differential of 2. And that gives Jones the win for going low bet on Bony Spirits.
But Boney had more than Fleshy.
Yep.
Boney had 3 more than Fleshy.
More bonies than fleshies.
I'm trying to decide which one is sexier.
Neither of those are
sex sells,
sexy.
you
Those
know?
are both gross if
Well,
you
it's
put those
flesh
words.
or bones.
Wait,
you
no,
know?
it's like a date. It's like a date question, right? Where it's just like, oh, how's your day last night? Was it fleshy or bony?
Oh my god.
I don't.
That's inappropriate on like 4 levels.
There's children who watch this stuff, Jones.
Yeah, think of
We've proven
Lennon.
that tonight, haven't we? Yeah, sorry. Had to get it out there. I'm sorry. I just think it was
Lennon?
It was right there.
Lennon. Yep.
Think of Lennon.
Good
Yeah.
memory.
Hi, Lennon.
Sorry, Lennon.
He's an amazing artist.
Probably too young to understand any of that.
Yeah.
The current scores now: Green Lizards 12, Red Eagles 16. Do you know what happened?
Whoa, you're way better at that than
that
me.
was great.
Don left. Don by Law ended, and now Jones has been on a little mini streak.
Yeah.
Back in the dumpster, the Green Lizard's home.
Yeah,
I'm so happy that we called it Dawn by Law.
Don by Law is over, and now Jones is on a little hot streak. That's crazy. Congratulations, Jones. What
Thank
you
you.
won, not just the point, but the right and responsibility to share your Twitter handle, the opportunity to get the final word on anything you've disagreed with or simply want to reiterate throughout the entire podcast. You get to promote any Easy Allies video you choose, and you get to sign off with your trademark sign off.
I would like to promote a video. Oh, what? Oh, you get?
I'm sorry,
is
I
it?
always forget
no,
this part.
We got a Patreon.
We got to promote our
Hey.
Patreon. Yeah, I got to get better at that. We are Easy Allies. We are funded by a Patreon. We are supported through a Patreon on patreon.com/easyallies. That is how we exist, and we do more than just this podcast. We do lots of live streams. We do lots of videos. We do crazy things. Damiani's got another Game Sleuth coming up.
Yeah.
Just very intensive things, very off-the-cuff things. Lots of videos about video games because we love video games.
We got a new show coming out too.
A new show?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. I don't
What?
know when we're gonna announce it. I'll probably announce it something too. Soon.
Wait, what is? Do I know about this? New
Oh,
show?
okay. You're talking.
you
Yeah.
know.
Well, there's
I'm talking about that.
Okay, you're talking about that.
Don't
You got
tease
apparently
like
cool.
this. Give them a little. I hate this.
Oh, you
generic
know what
tease.
it is. You know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
You know.
Tease them. No, tease the audience. Give them a. Give them.
We
a
did
tease.
one.
Yeah, you might have
Okay.
seen
You've
an installment.
seen
yeah.
you've seen the shadow
Oh.
pilot
Yeah.
for this series.
Great. Now
Oh.
that is a tease. I like
Yeah,
that very
okay.
much.
And we've got another one coming up
Yeah.
this month.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was a great tease. I like that. Yeah, we want it. We have fun making videos, or we will like doing it. So yeah.
And there's lots of fun
Absolutely.
podcast tiers on Patreon. $5 and above will get you the podcast early.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get that Wednesday in the PM as opposed to Friday in the PM. For $20 and above, you will become an official podcast producer, and I will read your names in the credits at the last podcast of every month. I'll take a little more time if you're a higher level, $20 and above.
Oh, you really give them special attention, huh?
Yeah, well, the first ones are the podcast halftime. You know, our official Easy Allies sponsors.
Absolutely.
So
You
their
get a lot
font
of
size
love.
is a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
It was funny because the Blood Pact is the $70 and above, and that was a new tier. So I was like, ooh, new font size. So I had to get. I didn't
to
check like
find it
the
in between.
yeah, like the
Font.
$200 font size versus the 50, and be like, I think it's about like 1010. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Nice.
That font size.
1010.
1010.
1010.
I had to say a number and botch it, didn't I?
I botched. Oh, I'm so stupid. I couldn't say
Can I do it?
number.
I'm ready. I'm
Jones,
primed.
I hate myself. Okay, so Jones, go ahead.
Time. Woo! You can find me at Trailer Jones. I would like to promote a video that I may be a little presumptuous here because it has not been completed yet, and I am not the one completing it because Mr. Ben Moore is producing his very first video ever called Tales from the East. Episode 1 is 96% complete, according to Mr. Ben Moore. So now Ben Moore gets to feel the stress
I hate
that only
that.
the editors know, where
Yeah.
it's all the ball's in your court, baby.
Ben,
And it
there's
is
no
be-
way it's 60, man.
It's
Like,
between
just-
you and that upload button. So leave it up to Mr. Ben Moore is when you're actually going to get this in your hands, whether it happened for Wednesday people or Friday people or whether it's going to be next week or whatever. No pressure because this is the man's first video.
Personally speaking,
Dump the pressure on the episode 2. That's when you give Ben pressure, but not the first one.
when I'm at 96% done with an edit, there are 4 more hours of tinkering away at that last 4%.
So that's what I want to say,
Yeah.
and I'm probably preaching to the choir here,
Yeah.
but I feel like every single time I'm watching it, I'm like, this could be a little better.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Spoiler alert, it could be. That's the problem with editing.
But,
It's like,
but the thing is,
You gotta
you're
know
like,
when to stop.
you're going through this, and when people are like it, they're like, oh, you spent that much time on it, and it's not, this is my first time editing anything, and so I think people are going to watch it, they're going to be like, oh, I can tell it's your first time watching it, but it's like, no, like, I think sometimes the effort you put into the tiny things doesn't always translate in a really frustrating, soul-eating way.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the saddest thing about editing is if you've done it right, no one will notice it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it wrong, so
You're gonna see the shit out of it. Yeah.
we should pitch the show more though, right?
It's
the show itself?
Ben went to Japan, and he has lots of stuff to talk about, and he's going to do that in several pieces. And the first one is
Tomorrow.
Tales from the East, episode 1. Yeah,
I guess the biggest selling point for it, and the thing I'm most excited about, is I went to these amazing places, and you get to walk through these places with me. Like,
Great.
it is like,
do you have camera footage?
I'm
You've got
holding
footage.
a camera,
Oh,
I'm
great.
walking around. It's like, hey, if you've ever wanted to go to a place or like this or want to learn more about it, like, you actually get to see the place, and so
That's great.
that's fun.
I
for
love
me.
that you made this video, Ben. That's
I'm-
so
I'm
cool.
very-
It's not just a talking head.
No, it's not just
actual.
And that's the thing is, like when it came down to how do you want to present your time in Japan, it's like, well, I could sit on a couch and talk about it, but I feel like we do that so much, so let's try something different, and I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I am really excited.
I want to physically get inside your head, Ben. I want to sit on your eyeballs.
The first 10 seconds of the video are my favorite thing I've ever made, and it's so dumb.
Yes.
It's so dumb.
I
It's
can't
so
wait.
dumb.
I
You should
cannot
watch it.
wait.
Yeah.
I reviewed Battleborn. It's the only game I've reviewed for EC Ally so far. I enjoy Benedict. If this game is gonna be free to play and you're gonna go out and play it, Benedict is an eagle dude. He's got a rocket launcher. He flies around. You can like fly up. There's one button, one ability. He shoots him up in the air really fast, and then you can glide around. He's got a rocket launcher. You can drop bombs on people. I remember like I demoed the game like 5 times, and when I finally got to that character, I was like, here we go. Okay, finally I have a character that like this is my default guy I can go back to. So
There's
if you're
the
like,
love and
okay,
respect.
this is Battleborn. Give Benedict a try. You might enjoy it.
This is what Natalie comes for, is that
Yeah.
element. Yeah.
He's the
Great.
Got to
Farrah.
say something positive.
Yep.
And I got something else positive for you.
Cheers, everybody.